A financially struggling couple buys a secluded old mansion that holds a mysterious hidden room. Inside this room, every wish spoken aloud is granted. Whether it's for food or cash, everything is fulfilled unconditionally. But is there really such a thing as a free lunch? The story's protagonists are a loving couple. The husband, Matt, is a low-income artist while his wife, Kate, works part-time as a foreign language translator to make ends meet. Due to their financial situation, they buy the old mansion at a very cheap price. Despite its remote location and age, the house appears to be in decent condition. While cleaning the house, they discover a strange, empty room. The moment they step into the room, the lights flicker strangely. The couple assumes it's just old wiring. The next day, they call an electrician to check the circuits. To their surprise, the electrical system is extremely complicated, with tangled wires filling the power room. The electrician remarks that he's never seen such a complex system before and doesn't know how to repair it. Before leaving, he warns Matt that the house is a haunted house where the previous owners, another couple, were brutally murdered over 40 years ago. The house has remained abandoned ever since. The electrician adds that the murderer was a young man who was quickly apprehended, but mysteriously, no information about his identity could ever be found. It's as though this person had just appeared out of nowhere. The police labeled him an unknown, and for reasons unknown, he's been confined to a psychiatric hospital ever since. Disturbed by this story, Matt looks up the case online and confirms the electrician's words were true. The house's previous owners were a couple, and the husband was murdered by a mysterious young man. Late that night, Matt goes into the secret room to drink in solitude. Halfway through, he realizes the bottle is empty. In a daze, he mutters for another bottle. Suddenly, the lights in the room flicker, and a bottle of alcohol appears out of nowhere. Matt is startled, but quickly realizes the room may have the ability to grant wishes. The next morning, Kate wakes up to find the room, which had been empty, now filled with valuable paintings, Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, Van Gogh's self-portrait, and others, all originals. Matt tells Kate about the room's supernatural power. Any wish spoken aloud will come true. Overjoyed, the couple begins to make endless wishes, from money to jewelry, from gourmet food to luxury clothing. They abandon their jobs and spend all their time indulging in a life of excess and pleasure. Matt even forgets about the strange murder case from 40 years ago. However, after some time, their wealth and indulgent lifestyle lose their appeal. Matt then proposes a plan to have a child, believing that with the magical room, they could provide the best possible life for their future offspring. To his shock, Kate passionately rejects his suggestion. It turns out that Kate had been pregnant twice before, but both pregnancies ended in miscarriage. Fearing the pain of experiencing another loss, she had refused to try again. However, deep down, she really wanted a child. In a moment of confusion, Kate had a terrifying thought. She wished the secret room could create a child for them. This thought caused Matt to break into a cold sweat. He strongly opposed such an unnatural way of having a child. But Kate, desperate for a baby, secretly went to the secret room to make her wish while Matt was out for a drive. When Matt returned, he found their home had been transformed with the addition of a lively and adorable baby boy. Kate was overjoyed with the joy of becoming a mother and named the baby Shane. Now Matt had no choice but to accept the sudden appearance of their son. Yet, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, and his mind kept flashing back to the mysterious murder case. To uncover the truth, Matt visited the psychiatric hospital where the murderer, John Doe, was confined. 40 years had passed, and John had turned into a frail, white-haired old man. When Matt asked him why he killed, John cryptically said it was the only way. He then urged Matt to leave the house as soon as possible, warning him that it would soon be too late. However, he refused to share any more information. After leaving the hospital, Matt stopped at a gas station to refuel. When he tried to pay, he discovered that all the money in his pockets had turned to dust. The money was the same as that created by the secret room in the mansion. It was then that Matt realized something was terribly wrong. He hurried back home, throwing a stack of money out the window. It quickly disintegrated into dust. He also placed Van Gogh's self-portrait outside, and the exposed part crumbled into powder while the part inside the house remained intact. Determined to understand what was happening, Matt examined the walls and floors, discovering that they were filled with dense wires. It seemed that these wires formed an energy barrier, protecting the objects created by the room. Matt finally realized that anything created by the secret room could only exist inside the mansion. If it was taken out, it would quickly age and disappear. Meanwhile, Kate had no idea something was wrong. She was preparing to take Shane outside to bask in the sun. Matt didn't stop her. perhaps it was better if the child disappeared through aging. But as soon as Shane stepped outside, he began growing rapidly. Kate screamed in terror, and Matt, unable to bear it, rushed to save the child. However, in an instant, Shane had grown into an 8 or 9-year-old boy. Afterward, Matt shared his discoveries with Kate. In order to protect Shane, Kate locked him inside the house and told him that the outside world was dangerous due to deadly bacteria. Despite spending a lot of time with Shane, the child, now at the active and curious age of 8 or 9, longed for the outside world. His behavior grew more eccentric and obsessive. One day he nearly snuck out and Kate, frightened, violently sealed all the windows with wooden planks. This suffocating environment became unbearable for Matt as well. He couldn't love the child the way Kate did and began to feel a deep unease. He left a voicemail for John Doe at the psychiatric hospital, begging for a response and for the truth to be revealed. But there was no reply. One day the couple woke up to find the hidden door of the secret room open. When they went inside, they discovered a sunlit forest behind it, where Shane was happily building a snowman. It turned out that the night before, Shane had overheard Kate and Matt's conversation about the secret room's ability to grant wishes. He had spent the entire night creating a fake outdoor world for himself. Kate was overjoyed to see him playing happily in the newly created world. She thought her son was incredibly smart to come up with such a creative idea, but Matt felt only fear. What if Shane created something dangerous in the future? The potential consequences were terrifying. Matt dragged Shane out of the secret room and locked the door. Just then, the phone rang. It was John from the psychiatric hospital. When Matt mentioned that Kate had used the secret room to create a child, John finally revealed the full truth. John confessed that they, too, had been a child created by the secret room. This explained why the police had been unable to find any personal information about them. Decades ago, the previous owners of the house, a couple, had used the secret room to wish for a child. However, they soon discovered a horrifying limitation. The child could not leave the house. The only way for the child to exist freely in the normal world was for their creators to die. The couple loved the child deeply, treating them as if they were their own flesh and blood. Unable to bear seeing the child trapped forever, the wife killed her husband and then instructed the child to kill her, resulting in the infamous massacre. After the couple's deaths, the child became part of the normal world, able to live freely outside the house and age naturally. However, this freedom came at a terrible cost, as the child was eventually institutionalized in a psychiatric hospital and spent the rest of their life there. John warned Matt that if Kate wanted Shane to grow up like a normal child, she would need to sacrifice her life. Faced with this brutal truth, Kate was unable to process it. Distraught, she drove off alone to clear her mind. On the road, she spiraled into despair and briefly considered following the example of the previous homeowners by sacrificing herself for Shane. However, in the end, she couldn't bring herself to go through with it. Meanwhile, back at the house, Shane became restless and furious when Kate didn't return. He demanded to go outside to find her. Overwhelmed by Shane's tantrum, Matt angrily revealed the truth about his origins. This led to a heated argument, but eventually the two calmed down and reached an uneasy truce. When Kate returned, she found Matt sleeping next to Shane, a rare and tender sight that made her deeply emotional. Moved by the apparent bond between father and son, she suggested to Matt that they try once again for a child naturally. The next morning, the couple woke to an astonishing sight. Shane had grown into a full-grown adult overnight. He had overheard their conversation and, fearing that a biological child would replace him, used the secret room's power to accelerate his growth into adulthood. Now an adult, Shane's mental state had become increasingly unstable. Consumed by jealousy and anger, he secretly retrieved Matt's gun and aimed it at him. Kate tried desperately to de-escalate the situation, but Matt managed to disarm Shane, leading to a physical struggle. In the chaos, Kate was knocked unconscious. When Kate woke up, Shane was gone, and Matt was by her side. Matt explained that the gun had gone off accidentally during the struggle, killing Shane. He said he had taken Shane's body outside, where it disintegrated into dust. Although heartbroken, Kate accepted Matt's explanation and resolved to leave the house for good. However, Matt's behavior took a strange turn. He insisted on staying in the house, arousing Kate's suspicion. She began noticing that Matt's mannerisms were eerily similar to Shane's. Soon, she realized the truth. This Matt was actually Shane in disguise, having used the secret room to transform himself. Terrified, Kate tried to escape, but Shane restrained her violently. In his warped mind, he believed that such actions would make Kate happy. Just as she was struggling, the real Matt burst into the room and intervened. It turned out that Shane had only knocked Matt unconscious earlier and then locked Kate inside the secret room. After regaining consciousness, Matt broke through the walls of the secret room, navigating through the dense web of wires, and found himself inside. What he discovered shocked him. Shane had used the secret room to create an identical version of the house and had been impersonating him. Shane intended to take Matt's place permanently and claim Kate as his own. However, upon seeing the real Matt, Kate no longer hesitated. She shoved Shane down the stairs and grabbed Matt, urging him to run. To their horror, Shane had created multiple nesting doll-like versions of the house using the secret room. No matter how far they ran, they found themselves trapped, looping endlessly inside the same space. Before long, Shane caught up with them and, in a fit of rage, stabbed Matt to death. Strangely, Kate showed no reaction to Matt's death. It was then that Shane realized the shocking truth. The Matt and Kate he had killed were merely replicas created by the secret room. Outside, the real Matt and Kate were still running for their lives. Matt and Kate finally broke through the labyrinth of the secret room and reached the front door. Just as they were about to step outside, Shane caught up and tackled Matt. The two men tumbled out of the house together. Once outside, Shane began to age rapidly. Panicked, he tried to return to the house, but Kate, who was still inside, had locked the door. Shane desperately clawed at the door, but within seconds he aged into dust and crumbled away. With Shane gone, Matt and Kate were finally safe. A month later, the couple had moved out of the cursed house and were staying at a roadside motel. One morning, Matt returned with 2 cups of coffee, but no matter how much he knocked, Kate wouldn't open the door. Inside the motel room, Kate sat frozen, staring at a pregnancy test in her hand. It was positive. As she processed the news, the table lamp in the room flickered eerily for a moment. And that's where the movie ends. The room leaves us with an unsettling, open-ended conclusion. Is Kate really pregnant with Matt's child? Did the couple truly escape the secret room? Does the flickering light at the end have anything to do with the house, or is it just an electrical glitch in the motel? Or could their supposed escape and victory over Shane have been an elaborate illusion? Perhaps the Matt who escaped with Kate was an imposter all along. What do you think happened? That's all for today's recap. See you in the next one.